Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I really wanted to cover 10 things that I let my children do. These are parenting rules that I don't really follow. It might be something that a lot of people don't allow their children to do, but I let my kids do these things, express their personalities. Once I talk about them, I guess you'll know a little bit more what I'm talking about. If you guys are new here, I am a mom of 2 little kids. I have a 2-year-old girl and a 1-year-old boy. I share on my channel tips about parenthood, frugal living, minimalism. I really hope you guys subscribe to my channel and click like on this video if you guys enjoy it. So be sure to subscribe, check out my other videos, and without further ado, let's get into this video. 10 things that I let my children do. So number 1 is I let my children tantrum. Now hear me out on this one. Definitely I'm not a huge fan of screaming and crying, but tantrums are pent-up emotions. It's not your child giving you a hard time, it's them having a hard time. And this is what I keep telling myself in those like very hard parenting moments when your kids are just screaming and crying and nothing you do will calm them down. And the point is not for them to calm down, but the point for them to kind of go through those emotions, go through those waves and come out the other side okay, and know that it's okay to feel those emotions, that you're safe and you will find a way to express what you need to express better over time. Kids have underdeveloped brains. Their brains are literally immature and they just can't control themselves. They can't control their impulses. They are not the same as adult brains. So to expect a child to not tantrum is just not really a realistic expectation. So I let my kids tantrum, go through their emotions and show their emotions and come out the other side okay. And I usually stay by their side and I try to comfort them and tell them that it's okay to feel this way, that we all feel this way sometimes, and that they will be okay ultimately. Number 2 is I let my kids dictate their own schedules. Sometimes my kids will take a bath before lunch, sometimes after lunch if they want to. If they want to bathe at that time, that's okay. If they want to play a certain game or do something, I let them do that. If they want to have reading time or something, then I let them. Unless we're like leaving the house for an important errand or something, they can basically dictate their own schedules more or less. Even bedtime, if they feel like they're not sleepy yet, it's hard to force a child to fall asleep when they're not ready yet. I try to have them in their own rooms or in a room together playing, but when have you been able to fall asleep on command? It's very rare. So yeah, that's another thing that I let them do, is dictate their own schedules. Number 3 is I let them communicate with me what they want. I ask a lot of questions about what they want, what are their preferences, what do they need from me. My job is to provide for them, to provide a good environment for them, to provide their education, their food, everything. So if they want something from me, it might be possible that I can't give it to them or they can't have it, but I ask a lot of questions about what they want. Number 4 is I let them play with food. I know this might be a huge no-no, but actually playing with food, especially for toddlers, little kids, babies, it's a huge form of a sensory activity for them, for small kids. As they get older, obviously I'm not gonna let them play with food, but making a little mess on their table, not really throwing food. A lot of the times lunchtime will extend for like an hour just because they're kind of making a mess and painting their table with food, and that's okay by me because it's like a free sensory activity. Like I don't need to come up with anything special for them. They already came up with something on their own, and that's great. Number 5 is I let them not be confined. For example, we have never used a crib. My daughter sometimes needs to be confined in her room, like for bedtime, for example, but she has never been in a crib. She can go around her room however she wants. The same with my son, who's 1 year old. He's also never been in a crib. Obviously, the room is safe and baby-proof. They can read books, they can play, they can do puzzles, they can hang out together if they're together in the room. But yeah, I let them have a lot of freedom in their movements and in their activities too. And I think this is great for them. I think this teaches them independence. This helps them figure out who they are, and I think that's really, really important. And my job is to basically observe that and learn who they are as people, not to make them, but to find out who they are and then help them kind of along the way. Like if they really like painting, then I will facilitate, I will provide the paint and the brushes. Number 6 is I let them help out and do chores. They clean up tables, walls, everything like that. I give them each a sponge, or they like to vacuum. I think it's extremely important for everybody in the house to have some responsibilities. It should not be all on me. Obviously it is all on me for now, but as they get older, I want them to have responsibilities, to take responsibility for their own belongings, for their own space. And I think it's a really, really great skill and great character trait to have basically for the rest of your life. I do think that kids that grow up having some chores become more equipped to deal with the world than those who are raised without any responsibilities and any chores. And that's just my opinion, but this is what I do with my children. Number 7 is I let them make a mess. If they want to throw things out of a bin, create some kind of a disaster, not all the time, but a lot of the times I do let that happen because they're still learning, they're exploring, they make games out of everything. Like sometimes stuff is in the box and they just want to play with the box, not actually with the stuff that's in the box. So they will dump everything out of the box and play with that. And I let that happen. A lot of the times my kids will kind of lead their own activities. Obviously my job is to supervise and to manage to make sure nobody gets hurt. I let them create messes and then I clean up those messes all day long, basically. Now, would I love for my house to be constantly clean and organized? Of course. I like that a lot, and I don't necessarily enjoy the process of cleaning everything, but I think it's important for kids to have freedom to explore and create those messes. And on a more motherhood note, let me know in the comments the lengths you will go to have a 20-minute break. Just let me know. Because sometimes I do let them like dump out something I just cleaned out, I just folded, so that I can have a bit of a break. Let me know in the comments if you've ever done that, because I have definitely done that many times. Number 8 is I let them influence what I do. My kids are a huge part of my life, so if one of them is not sleeping, I'm gonna do something to help them. If they want to do something particular, I will be sure to facilitate that. If they have questions, if they want me to do something, if they want to talk about something in particular, it's my job to be that person to help them out. That's a huge part of my life, and a huge learning experience that I'm going through is figuring out how I can parent them better and parent myself better to raise these two beautiful human beings. Number 9 is I let them tell me stuff that might be very hard to hear or that I might not want to hear. For example, the other day my daughter said something along the lines of, I don't want to have a mommy. And instead of being like, oh my god, don't say that, how dare you, it makes me sad, I asked her a bunch of questions. Why don't you want to have a mommy? Is it because of this? Is it because of that? What do you mean by that? Like, I just asked her a lot of questions and kind of tried to get to the bottom of it, because children, they can't really communicate yet the same way as adults do. Even adults, sometimes we have trouble communicating in a way that's like socially acceptable and in a way that won't hurt anybody. And kids, they don't know social norms yet. They don't know how to communicate what they're trying to tell you. So instead of shutting it down and kind of nipping it at the bud and letting it fester in her own world, I try to let it out. I try to figure out what is causing her to say this, how I can better myself, what I can do, and basically figure out what's the root cause of it. What is she actually telling me? What is she actually trying to teach me and to tell me? And number 10 is I let them question me. I am not perfect. I'll be the first one to admit that I'm not perfect and that nobody is perfect, and my children are people and they have their own personalities, and I think it's important for them to question me why I'm doing something, how I'm doing it. I honestly don't mind explaining to them anything that they want to know. So yeah, that's another thing that I let them do. Please let me know in the comments, what are some of the things you let your kids do that might not be exactly conventional and traditional? I would love to know. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, and also check out my other videos on my channel. Please be sure to click like on this video if you guys enjoyed it. This really helps me out and lets me know that you guys want to see more of videos like this and on this topic. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.